All right, working on a 2008 Ford F350 with a 6.4 power stroke. All right, I'm going to do a transmission filter change and fluid change. Of note, this is a Job 1 truck, which means it was built in the early part of 2007, and that'll be important later on, and I'll explain why. Okay, grab yourself probably about 10 quarts of the Motorcraft Mercon LV automatic transmission fluid, some brake cleaner. Grab yourself a something to help you get those bolts out, flashlight. Okay, you'll need a socket set and extension. This is a 13 and I got two 10 millimeters right there. Okay, here's the internal transmission filter. Part numbers right there. Some paper towels, and obviously something to catch all that transmission fluid. Okay, here's your transmission pan, and the very first thing I discovered is a problem. That drain plug right there is not backing out. Okay, and I'm gonna guess it's because there's a nut inside that was probably tack welded, and that tack weld is busted loose. And so what I'm gonna have to do now is take out all 20 of these bolts and drop this pan with all of the fluid in it. All right, I got the transmission pan off and made a big mess because I couldn't drain it. But that right there is the transmission filter. It's the internal one. And all you're gonna do is just pull on that from right there, and it'll come straight down. Okay, so I got that internal transmission filter down. It's sitting in there. Now see, notice the little gasket on the end is actually still left up in there, so I'm gonna actually pick that out. Because when we put the new one on, that's gonna get in the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this transmission pan and figure out why this drain plug wouldn't come out. Okay, so here's that transmission pan, and we got the magnet there, but that nut is actually spinning, so it was probably tack welded at some point, but I could not get that bolt to back out of there because that nut is just spinning inside here. Okay, so I thought about tack welding that back into place, you know, by removing this magnet, but I'm not gonna do that. And I'll tell you why here in a second. Take a look at this. Okay, this was changed out in 2018, but this feels like a cheap Chinese made part. Okay, this is the internal transmission filter, and it looks very different than the Ford OEM one that I have here. Okay, there's the part number. I did verify that I have the correct one, but I discovered that this one is not gonna fit in this pan. Okay, it does not sit flush down in that pan. All right, I even did a mock-up, and I put this new filter in here. Okay, we'll actually put it up underneath into the transmission, and I could not get this pan bolted back in, so I discovered that because my truck is a Job 1 truck, meaning it was built in the early 2007 time frame, later during the Job 2 or Job 3 truck builds for 2008 Super Duties, the pan was changed out to a different pan. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that ordered. Okay, I have this upgraded transmission pan now. Okay, and that filter is sitting right down in there. All right, you can see the difference here. This is the old Job 1 transmission pan. Okay, I took a much smaller filter. This is the number 2 the Job 2 or the Job 3 transmission pan. Okay. It looks the same, except this valley right here is actually quite a bit wider than this one. All right. And this transmission pan I just got from the Ford dealer was about 45, 46 bucks. There's the part number right there for it if you need one for your 2008 Super Duty. Okay. Okay, so we're back underneath the truck. I'm gonna use one of these tools to see if I can fish out that gasket that came off of that old transmission filter. It's kind of an orangish color, it's up in there. Okay, you can see I got one of them out, a little hook like that. But the other one, the previous owner probably left this on there when he did his, there it goes. Okay, got that one. Okay, so that's what it should look like. Your new transmission filter will just push up into there, and then you're ready to put the new transmission pan on. It's good to go ahead and wipe down the surface edge of where that gasket, that reusable gasket's gonna mate up with that transmission pan, okay? These are a reusable gasket, it says right on the transmission pan itself. Okay, we're back here at the new transmission pan. If you see on the bottom side, pan is equipped with a reusable gasket, okay? And there's that drain plug, the new one. And you know, what a bad design. This one may be better right here, and I'm gonna take this weight or this magnet out of here. But yeah, so we're gonna wipe that down and put that in the new one, and you can see that gasket on this new transmission filter. That's what we removed. I removed 2 of them, okay? Okay, I got that magnet in there, and that's just gonna catch any of the metal shavings that naturally, you know, fall into this transmission pan over time, just through normal wear and tear, okay? So make sure you have that in there. Okay, we're gonna take this reusable gasket and bring it over to this new one and get this bolted in underneath the truck. Okay, so got some brake cleaner, sprayed some on here. We're just gonna get this edge cleaned up here, go all the way around and make sure there's no debris on that. Okay, so got the new transmission filter here with the gasket. Shove that up into there, and you'll kind of feel the natural spot where it wants the seat. Okay, and this one is a Ford OEM part. Like I said, I gave you the part number earlier, but you could see that the filter is just much more intricate, I guess, than that other one. So I'm gonna put this pan on, 1 bolt at a time. There's about 20 of them, and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we got the new pan in. Okay, so we're gonna go around and torque these to 11 foot-pounds. I think there's 20 of them all the way around. Okay, so we got that all torqued down. Okay, but while I'm under here, I wanted to show you this right here. It's my understanding that this is the external transmission filter. All right, and I can't replace that right now because it takes a certain tool that I don't have. But it's my understanding that on Job 1 trucks, on the 2008 Ford Super Duty, these early production 2008 Super Duties had a external transmission filter. This is it right here. It's right forward of the transmission pad. And I'll figure out how to change that out at a later time. I'm not gonna do it now. I don't have the tool. Okay, to add transmission fluid, you're gonna pull that yellow dipstick, it says trans fluid right there. We're gonna pull that out, put a funnel on it, and add in about 8 to 10 quarts of transmission fluid. Okay, so I'm filling up quart number 8. And during this process, just look underneath your truck. Make sure that you have no leaks coming from around the transmission pan or that drain plug. Now this truck takes just over 19 quarts, but when you do a transmission pan change and the filter change, you're only gonna need to add about 8 to 10 quarts of this Motorcraft Mercon LV ATF. Okay, I'm just back under here looking for any leaks, and I don't see any. I checked all sides, and I'm happy. Okay, what we're gonna do next is just start the engine. We're gonna get that transmission fluid up to a warm temperature, maybe around 130, 150 degrees. And we're gonna go check that transmission fluid dipstick and see how much more we need to add. Okay, just went to test drive the truck. It shifted through all the gears just fine, and pulled that dipstick out. Okay, you can see the hot side there. If you roll it around, you'll see the cold side. So it's hot right now. I saw on my H&S Mini Max that it was up to about 150 degrees for the transmission fluid temp. Okay, so hot right there. It looks like I'm good to go. I added about 10 quarts of transmission fluid, and I'm happy. Okay, so just a quick recap. You know, this should have been maybe an hour job, and it turned into like, 3 hours. This is my old pan. This is the old filter. Okay, on a 2008 Super Duty. This is again a Job 1 truck. So Job 1 trucks were built in early 2007, and during production they made some changes to the Job 2 trucks, Job 3 trucks, and this must have been one of the changes, okay, because this is the original transmission pan. Ford obviously found a need to upgrade to a better filter, and because that filter was different, it was wider, they couldn't use this transmission pan, okay? So go get yourself that transmission pan if you don't have it. If you have a Job 1 truck and you're gonna do a transmission filter and fluid change, get yourself this pan when you do the job, okay? The other problem I ran into was that drain plug not backing out, and it's because that nut right there, you can see I tried to tack weld it back into place, and I got it back in place, but I put some fluid in there and it started leaking. So I don't think that'd be a good fix to tack weld that back into position if you were gonna, reuse your pan. But overall, happy that the transmission's shifting through all of the gears just fine, and I'm gonna move on to the other fluids in this truck.